Hey everybody, thanks for jumping on Friday afternoon here in Colorado. I'm on with Aaron Lebovic, 20 years in the business. He's got some
Woohoo!
big things to share. It's going to be awesome. Stick around. Here we go. Dr. Lebovic.
Ah, Mr. or just Aaron. Just
Just
Aaron.
Aaron. I hear you. How you
Boy,
doing,
that was
man?
some jamming music. I love
There,
that. That
there
was
you
great.
go. You were dancing behind the scenes,
I
I'm
totally
sure.
was.
So, man, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy up there in Denver, rocking and rolling real estate, this crazy market that we're in. It's a nutty time to be in the business. A lot of people getting their license, man. It's challenging out there, but you've done this a long time, man. You've been in the business 20 years. Why don't you tell everybody your story a little bit? How you got in
Yeah,
and what you've been up to? Talk about that a little bit. Okay.
happy to do it. And first, it's a big deal that I'm here. Thank you very much for having me. I
You're very
appreciate that.
welcome. Thank you.
So my story in my adult life starts in 2002 through 2009. I was a foreclosure auction buyer, full-time real estate investor in 4 states. Then in 2009, I was buying at auctions in Colorado. Noticed everybody and their mother started coming into the auctions, and there wasn't really a platform for education and training and leads, foreclosure leads, distressed homeowners, where you could help them buyers help them sell their home or enlist it as an agent or buy it as an investor. And so I partnered up with some great guys and started renav.com. It's a foreclosure database and training company. And I basically turned all my competition into my customers, which, who doesn't love that?
There you go.
And then in 2014, foreclosure filings were down, traditional sales were up, and I decided I wanted to be a full time real estate agent. And I still do the foreclosure thing, and I still teach classes, and I still co own Renav. But I saw an opportunity where markets go up, markets go down. I could thrive as a real estate agent. Now, I could have gone on my own as a real estate agent, but based on my experience with Renav and my prior experience as an investor, I know the importance of partnering with the right people because you can all go faster and further together, right? And have more fun doing it. And so I partnered with these guys out of Phoenix named Kevin and Fred with the Group 4610 team at Keller Williams. And I was their very first expansion partner where I took on their training and systems and the internet leads. And also they taught me how to be a great real estate agent, how to follow up with leads, but also how to work with my personal sphere and get referrals. And in my first deal, I closed 72 homes as a team member and as a
Wow.
new agent, new to the business as a traditional agent. And boy, partnering with them, there was always challenges. You're always when you're building something, you're flying the plane while building it.
Sure.
But when you partner with the right people whose hearts and minds are going in the same direction and towards the same goal, man, you are unstoppable. So help to build their team. Fast forward to now, I've got my own little team, two new agents on the team, and myself. Last year in 2021, we closed $35 million in real estate,
Wow.
73 transactions. 49 of those were mine, 24 of them were theirs.
Hmm.
And in 22, man, I'm excited. This is
Yeah.
already turning out to be a spectacular year. And I'm working on building partnerships through EXP, introducing people to EXP, but also selling a whole lot of real estate because none of
Yeah.
the EXP or any brokerage stuff matters if you're not forward first with closing deals and helping families to buy or sell homes.
For sure, for sure. Talk about that a little bit. I mean, the you've been around a long time. I mean, so the foreclosure stuff. Do you see what do you see with that right now? I mean, you're teaching classes to realtors right now. Is that what you do for
Yeah,
foreclosures? Okay, okay.
realtors and investors.
Because 2008. I mean, I survived that, but my God, that was a crazy few years. Foreclosures and short sales. I mean, that's primarily what we had to turn to. That's what it was. Most of the business. What do you see with that? Are you seeing any kind of things starting to come back in that direction a little bit, or what do you see going?
Well, let's
foreclosure
maybe
numbers?
go back a hair because in
Okay.
a great market leading up to COVID, it was still a very competitive, very good market.
Sure.
We were seeing, and I live in the Denver metro area. We were seeing about 75 homes fall into foreclosure every single week in the 7 county Denver metro area in like a really great market. And then, of course, when COVID happened, there was a foreclosure moratorium that put a stop to it with some very rare exceptions, and it plummeted down to almost zero.
Right.
When the moratorium was lifted late last year, I was like, okay, there's probably a backlog, and I'm going to start seeing the numbers go up drastically when the moratorium was lifted. That didn't happen. And I'd heard Wells Fargo made a commitment to not foreclose on anyone in 2021. They would wait until 2022. And so I was like, okay, January 1st, 2022, we're going to start seeing some movement and activity. I've been tracking the numbers really closely because a lot of people, title companies, and boards are wanting me to teach classes on foreclosures again. But ethically, it's hard because if there's more people in the class than there are homeowners in distress to help, I don't know that it's
Right.
the right time. But I have been tracking it, and it was going from 10, maybe 20. That was a big number per week. Now we're at about 50 per week, and
Really?
it's time. Yeah, it's time. And there's probably a big backlog happening as well. But our market could use it. There's such low supply and such high demand that it's yet to be seen whether there's going to be enough activity to cause an effect on values. I
Hmm.
think the market will just absorb them right up within reason.
Oh, I believe so. I saw, there was an article I just saw this morning on Inman News, and they were talking about like February, for the first time in a long time, the number of homes on the market, coming on the market, dropped from January. Because normally,
Hmm.
December it hits, and then January, February, March, the number of homes on the market continues to go up. That didn't happen this last month.
It's a
What do you
pinch.
see with that? I mean, it's challenging right now. And I mean, there's going to be agents watching this that are brand new. There's agents been around for a few years. Agents like you and me have been around for a long time. I mean, the good agents adjust, and we get through it all. But what do you think? Like, what would you say to some of the newer agents right now that are trying to get their business up and running with so few homes to sell and that kind of stuff? Like, how would you be marketing and stuff right now? I mean, any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I think that the best source of business is going to be your personal sphere and referrals. That's what's going to get you through the good times and the bad times. But I also understand that many people are moving into a new state and they don't have a big personal sphere. And also, if they're a new agent, they're trying to overcome everybody, like their friends and family, knowing them and liking them, but not trusting them with what's usually the biggest investment of their lives. And so I was actually just talking to a new partner. We went out to lunch and I was giving him some coaching, and he was talking about exactly that. And I said, so what are we going to do to change the image of you being in the tech world to you being a full time real estate agent? And it's constantly dripping on them in some form or fashion through social media. Hey, check out this open house I'm hosting, come and visit. Through coming from contribution with people, hey, I'm new to the business, but I'm practicing pulling comps for people. Can I give a valuation of your house? There's no expectations that you're going to work with me. Inviting to client appreciation events, calling them on them and inviting them to an open house. Hey, I know you live in Colorado Springs. I'm hosting this open house in Denver. I'm sure you guys aren't planning on moving, but if you know anyone that might be interested in a house in Denver, it could be a good opportunity. And then it doesn't even have to be your listing to do it. And what you're doing is you're dripping on them. Hey, I am a trusted, successful, active real estate professional, such that all you can expect, I think, in my opinion, unless you're grinding with internet leads and cold calling and door knocking, which I'm not knocking that strategy either. It's just a very different strategy. And in my opinion, it's a
Right.
grind.
Mm-hmm.
What you're doing is you're setting yourself up with your sphere and building your sphere such that when they think of real estate, they think of you.
Totally.
Because it's not like you're going to call and follow up with somebody and say, hey, how are you and the kids? And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about you. I need to sell my house. Can you come over today? It's nice when that does happen, but that's not
Yeah,
really that, as unfortunately not as common as people might think getting into the business.
for sure. No, that's a great point. I mean, I think, and just, man, market, market, market. And again, a lot of it can be free through social media stuff. I would be on every platform you could get on, not just Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat. Like, I mean, I get as everywhere you can go. Grant Cardone's big on that. Like, just, man, you need to be on every platform out there, and just, overdo it a little bit right now. I mean, if you're sitting back as a realtor waiting on the phone to ring, good luck. It's time to
You're
go
done.
get your resume out there and find another job, because it's not going to
Yeah.
work that way in this market. You've got to hustle and get yourself out in front of everybody else, because there's just, man, the number of homes on the market right now, compared to the number, I think there's a huge demand, whatever. I think a lot of sellers are kind of pulling back a little bit. I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now in terms of gas prices doing what they're doing. I went to the grocery store yesterday, and there's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 things that I have to buy, every month. I mean, whatever, just little things. I mean, what deodorant? It was $1 more, exactly $1 more than what it was 3 weeks ago. Toothpaste, everything that I bought. There's like 5 things I bought. They were all exactly $1 more than they were what I normally pay. I'm like, what is this all about? You know what I mean? But I think all that, Ukraine, everything going on, it's like people are like, okay, wait a minute. There will always be those people though that have to make a move.
Right, right. And
And
even with rising interest rates, like that's going to affect our market.
talk about
Um,
that for a second, because they went up a quarter point a couple days ago. They're saying they're going to raise them 6 more times this year. I mean, who knows whether that'll come to pass or not. But what are your thoughts on that in terms of the market? What's it going to do to the market?
So the first place my mind goes when somebody mentions interest rates is I've got this great chart, and if you want to reach out, I'm happy to share it. Maybe I don't know if you're sharing
Sorry
information at
about
the
that.
end of this.
Yeah, I hear my dogs out there. They're going crazy.
Barely, it's okay.
Somebody just rang the doorbell. So
Dang it.
the joys of working from home.
I think in
It's all
TV
good.
and movies, you tell me because you've been in the business. When there's a doorbell ringing in a show, are they laughing in the background like we are going to set everybody's dog to freak out?
Yeah,
They
exactly.
know what they're doing, right?
Yeah,
Or like Alexa gets mentioned on, if you're listening to this out loud, I just triggered your Alexa device.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so what do I think interest rates? So where my
Yeah,
mind goes, first of all, is looking at things in the big picture, right? So we got used to and enjoyed 3% interest rate, even in the twos recently. But overall, interest rates are so incredibly low, even at the three, four, and in high fours that we're
sure.
probably going towards. And the other place that my mind goes right away is when you talk to anybody who has been in the business for a while or just has been on this earth for a while, talking about older people, sorry,
Hmm.
um, they love whenever you bring up interest rates, they love saying what? Back in the 80s, I had a house. What am I going to say?
18%. Yeah,
Right? Well,
yeah,
that means that they were buying houses and getting mortgages at 18%. So 4% doesn't scare me. I
yeah.
do believe it has an effect on people, especially in the lower price points or lower income market,
Hmm.
because that $200 or $300 more per month that they're paying for that same house, and it's probably only going to go higher from here. Obviously, I'm not a financial analyst or lender consult professional. My little disclosure for you disclaimer, but as it goes up, I think it'll put a little bit more hardship on it, and yet we have so much demand and yet so little supply that what's going to happen might be okay in this price segment. Your buyer pool might go from receiving, at least in my market, 25 offers. Let's say it gets cut in half to 12 offers. There's still a high demand. I just closed a house last week. I just closed a house where it was $430,000 price point. We were up against 24 other offers. There was 25 offers total. Of course,
Hmm.
my client won, and maybe we could talk about that later. Like, how does
Yeah,
somebody win in a competitive market if that's of interest to anybody?
sure, sure.
But I think also what's going to affect this is all the hedge funds that are buying in that price point too, that aren't as concerned about interest rates because they're using cash a lot of times, or
Right.
investors that are buy and hold. And so that's I think competition is still going to be high even with interest rates going up.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's interesting, and talk about the competition. I mean, I know my wife. We put an offer in for some buyers. Let's see, it was listed at 730. We offered 760, and there were 9 other offers. Which down here for Colorado Springs, like that's just like we haven't seen that kind of stuff. A whole lot. I mean, we're starting to more and more in all those price ranges. And we didn't get it. I was on the phone yesterday with an agent in Indianapolis, and she's just frustrated with the market. Been around for a long time, Century 21. She put an offer in 1.2 million on a 1.1 million dollar listing, and they didn't get it. And she's like, this just doesn't happen in Indianapolis, and so there's a lot of that going on. So you got yours accepted. Talk about that.
Well, my
Some
team
of
and
these realtors,
I,
all these realtors watching this, they've all been through this with buyers. It's like, oh my God, we're pulling our hair out. Eight offers
yeah.
later, 8 homes later, like we finally land one. What are you doing? Are you doing anything in particular that's helping you get the deal?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
talk about
And
it.
I even have to go back to how I was trained by Kevin and Fred in the Group 4610 team, and how I'm training my agent partners right now to do the same thing.
Cool.
There's a lot that goes behind winning in this kind of market. What helps is that out of the 49 home families and clients that I helped to buy or sell a home, about 75% of them were sellers. And when I help a buyer, my statistic right now is half of the offers I write get accepted, meaning one out of two offers. And there's a lot of agents out there throwing, stuff against the wall, 8, 10,
Totally.
15 offers. I've even heard of over 20 offers for one single client. I think that because I represent so many sellers, and because I'm processing sometimes between 5 and 25 offers on a property, I see the gamut and I communicate with the gamut of agents. Now,
Right.
I know they probably all have good hearts and definitely want to help their clients succeed. And I think they're a little misguided or could use some coaching on what it takes to write a winning offer. There's lots of poor communication, lots of sloppy offers, lots of delivery, and there's things that you could do to win. So maybe let's
Sure.
switch gears to that. It's easy to say, well, just offer more money and buy the property as is with no inspections. That is not at all my strategy. Sometimes it doesn't
Sure.
even have to do with money. So where it really starts is in the very first phone call when someone raises their hand and says, I am thinking about buying a house. So I've got a list of questions pre-qualifying the appointment to set up the stage for a great consultation. And then we have a really great, really important consultation. And then when we're out shopping for homes, the understanding and the expectations have been set so that they know what it takes to win. Everybody is completely on the same page. Like one of the questions in my questions before I even set the appointment is, what's prompting the move? What's their motivations? What's important to them? And why are they doing it? Understanding people's motivations and what's important. What is it? If you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. It's that
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah.
And so understanding their motivations and what's important to them first and foremost. Secondly, one of the like bunch of questions I ask is, are there any other decision makers in the process? And if somebody says, I'm a first time home buyer, I'm buying with my spouse, and we're the only decision makers, I say, great. It's important that everybody is at this consultation so everybody is on the same page. And I'll even add, but also, since you just said this is your first time that you guys are buying a house, are there any other influencers in the decision making process? Maybe they're not on title or on the loan, but sometimes like a family member or a friend who has helped, has bought or sold homes before, might be influencing the agent you hire or the house that you buy. Who's that? Because I want them to come to the consultation too, right?
Right.
The
Mm-hmm.
worst time the worst time to be telling somebody, okay, how much over asking do you want to go, and how easy on inspections do you want to go, and how much of an appraisal gap do you want to offer? The worst time to explain what that means to the buyer or an influencer like grandpa in rural Ohio who hasn't bought a house for 20 years, but he's helping with the down payment in the background, and then the kid's like, hey, grandpa, so we need to go this much cash and yada, yada. Grandpa's like, what the heck is that agent telling you to do? That's horrible. That
Yeah.
shyster,
Yeah.
right? But we would just want everybody to be on the same page. And in the consultation, I'm not just telling them what it's like, I'm showing them. This is my one of, like, I think the most valuable pieces to a consultation that I've been doing since 2015 when the market started going bananas is I set my clients up for a search and I fine tune it during the consultation. And then I say, let's play a fun game. Let's change it from active on the search. And I'm showing them the back end of the MLS,
Hmm.
the listing service where properties are listed for any consumers that are watching this and don't know all the acronyms.
Yeah.
Excuse me just a sec. So I'm pulling up the MLS. I'm saying, okay, here's your search. Now I'm going to change it from active to properties that are under contract and that have closed within the last 30 days, but the exact same search for the exact same property type and location that you're looking for.
That's
And then
awesome.
there's this stats piece that I can pull, two of the columns, just some overall high level stats that I'm showing them. One is days in the MLS, DIM is what it says on the sheet. And
Hmm.
it shows 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe there's like an outlier like 37 or whatever. And I say, this is the time it takes from it going active to the time it goes under contract. What are you seeing here? And they're like, very short time. So I'm telling them it's not me telling you that you need to make a decision extremely quickly. It's the market because your competition is. Now,
Sure.
the last column on that sheet shows CP/OLP. Um, I'm a data guy, but I'm also like a person guy. I'm not a super data guy. So like I teach all the agents I partner with to do this,
Hmm.
pull the sheet and how the consultation goes. And in the last column, it says CP/OLP. That stands for closed price to original list price ratio.
Okay.
And that means what percentage did it close for those that closed, what percentage did it close for compared to the original list price? And I asked my client, what are you seeing here? Is it closing for asking price? No, it's closing for 102%, 105%, 120%. And so what I'm telling them, and grandpa who's on a Zoom from Ohio, that's why it's so important that everybody is on the same page on this. I'm saying it's not me telling you that if you're looking for a house that you love, that has great views, excellent condition, great placement within the community, those are the properties that are going to go for 3 to 20% over asking. It's not me
Hmm.
telling you you're going to have to be competitive and offer over asking price. It's the market. And then
Yeah.
there's a whole slew of other things we talk about, pitfalls to avoid, what the timeline looks like in the process. So I'm setting expectations, right? You know this with relationships in your personal life, in your professional life, with your kids. When you set expectations, everybody's on the same page and things go a whole lot smoother.
Yeah. That's awesome. There's good advice right there. Like, let the data give them the information, show them that, show them the back office, so they can kind of see what's going on. Because otherwise, you're the bad guy, whatever. It's like, don't shoot the messenger. Like, no, here's what it is. But yeah, setting the expectations, teaching them up front, There's those memes out there, where dad shows up at the inspection and kills the deal. Those kind of things.
Right.
But that stuff happens. It's just, oh my gosh, it's crazy. 20 years of doing this.
And
So,
I'll add real quick. Another
mhm.
thought is a lot of agents who have been in the business for a long time are like, I'm just taking a break right now. This market is crazy. I don't want to be writing 20 offers for clients. And they've done that. I'm of the opinion, like, I'll help anybody and my team will help anybody. Even if you need down payment assistance, you've got barely any cash in the bank and you need to move into a move in ready property, I will help them gladly, and I will still get half of my offers accepted because of, okay, so we got to change the game plan. There's certain strategies we can use, like, here's the houses we're going to show that meet certain conditions. Like, let's set an appointment for Sunday and Sunday early afternoon if they're presenting offers on Monday. And if there's more than four offers on the property and you need down payment assistance, you can't go over asking price. You has to be move in ready. If there's more than four offers on the property, let's just cancel because we're probably wasting our time.
Yeah.
And my clients respect that. Or and let me set up another search for you. This is another little gem of a trick that I like to share.
Hmm.
Is let's set up another search for homes that have been on the market for 5 days or more that are still active on the market. And then I'll see if there's offers on the table. If there's no offers on the table, yes, there might be something condition wrong with it. Yes, it might back to a busy street, or it's just overpriced. The seller is freaking out because it's been 5 days in the hottest market on the planet. We have no offers. We might need to drop the price. And then you come in and offer a reasonable price, and you might actually be getting a good deal.
Get the deal. Yeah.
Right. So you can set up an alert. Hey, only properties that have been on the market for over 5 days. That's when it gets messaged to my clients
That's
for those
awesome.
for certain clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's that's great stuff. That's powerful stuff for sure. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Any agents that are watching this, tell real quick. So how long have you been at EXP? You moved over. You're coming up on your 4-year anniversary. Is that right?
Yeah. June will be 4 years.
Okay. How's it been?
I mean, it's great. But my last brokerage things were great too.
Sure. Sure.
Honestly, and I'll just say it. I was at Keller Williams, and I was happy as a clam. I think
Hmm.
Keller Williams taught me a lot. I still love my managing broker,
Absolutely.
and I'm still friends with my managing broker. It doesn't hurt that she moved over to EXP with me, and I sponsored her into EXP. But there are other managing brokers there, and that have even
Right.
gone to other brokerages. I'm still friends with them, so I think
Sure.
that's like the
It's
key
a great
is
company. I was there for 5 years. I learned a ton over there. I mean, nothing bad to say about them or any other company out there. Everybody's doing
yeah.
their thing. It's good stuff.
And
Yeah.
I was worried I'd lose that connection, but then when I realized if they're really truly a friend and I love them and they truly love me, then it shouldn't matter what brokerage I'm at to get, become friends and stay friends. With Keller Williams, Kevin and Fred, I was still part of the Group 4610 team. I was leader for the team. They were hell no on EXP. They were completely unopen to even hearing about it. They had impressions from their managing broker who said, "No,
Hmm.
it's a terrible company.
Right.
It's not sustainable," was the thing they used to say. And now we're
Right.
extremely profitable. And but finally they opened their hearts and minds to looking at the model, and I opened my heart and mind to, I was convinced I wouldn't be joining, but I opened my heart and mind to look at the model. And once I really saw it, like really really saw it, I realized this company is not at all what all the naysayers and managing brokers of other companies that don't want to lose you, it's not at all what they were telling me.
Yeah,
um
there's a lot of misinformation out there,
oh
and I get
man.
it. There, I mean, whatever. While we're growing, by 1,000 a week, I mean, whatever. Most companies are growing maybe by a couple thousand a year. I mean, it's just that's just where it's at right now. There's just a lot happening here. Let me ask you, like prior to EXP, or like just in your real estate history, just as a realtor, like what have been some of your biggest challenges? What have been some of your biggest pain points? Because we all have
Yeah.
them. It's part of the business. It's a part of any business, but for you as a realtor, what were some of your biggest, headaches that you had to
And
deal with?
and we used to call it like we had this wall, we had this red wall up where we were never even like looking over the wall to see what else is out there, to the point where we didn't even know what our pain points were until we actually saw, oh my gosh, on the other side of the wall there's actually a solution to that. So I can
Right.
only say like truly what my pain points are now more than because I
Okay.
see it in hindsight. One was when I was building the team and I brought up a really kick butt agent, from zero to training them and coaching them and supporting them and loving them. And they were a team member. All of a sudden, when they left the team, normally I would be like, hey, great job. That's awesome. Go and leave. But as a leader, where I just, they were my top producer on my team, I'm happy for them, but also like I'm devastated
Yeah.
because they might stay with the company, but if I'm not making earning income off of them, then it's not all for now. Like you always kind of have to be replacing them, and it's a
Yeah.
grind. With EXP, It's, when I'm talking to people about joining under like my team, I'm telling them you don't have to do a Sunday night move out and burn a bridge when you're ready to move on. I'll actually help you with the move, and I'll help you and love on you to remain at the company, and we'll still be partners because of the nature of the model.
Yeah.
So that was
And they're
painful
and they're
before.
probably not gonna, yeah, and that's a great point, because they're probably not gonna leave the company, because I mean, just with all the different things that go on here, the stock bonuses, different things, like it's like they might leave your team because they
Hmm.
grew to a point where they want to maybe start their own team or whatever. They don't need the team thing anymore. They want to go on their own or whatever. But they're probably not going to leave the company, because I went through that too. I had a big team, whatever, and yeah, I remember when my number one guy, he left and wanted to start his own team. Like I get it, I totally get it. But I just created my competition, and there's plenty to go around. So I never really looked at that in a bad way. But I'm like, dang it, like how do I replace this guy? He probably did, here we are doing 180, 200 homes a year on my team. He probably did, he did a quarter of them, and I got like
Hmm.
five other people on the team, including whatever. Like, how do you replace that guy?
Yeah.
That's hard. And so, but yeah, here they're probably not going to leave. They're going to stick with EXP, and
Yeah.
the retention factor here is huge. So that's a good point. What else?
Yeah, so there was something else. So when I left Kevin and Fred's team, I was that, at one point top producer of their team. And I was I was a regional director. I was recruiting people towards the Group 4610 team. But when I made the decision to go off on my own, I was ready for that because we were at EXP. They still, and to this day, plug into me at an extremely high level and collaborate and partner with me, just like I partner with everybody that I'm sponsoring into the company, or down the line,
Right.
or introducing to the company.
Sure.
So what happened was, when I came in and then I decided to go off on my own, I went from a leadership position where I was making a piece of all the deals of the people under me on the team, to I'm 100% now. I've got to start over as a real estate agent. I had taken myself out of production for a while. And so I was at zero. And there was a couple months there that the revenue share and the stock awards that were coming to me actually helped me to pay my mortgage. I literally might not have, unless I borrowed from mom and dad, which thankfully I have great parents that, I'm in a position to do that, but I don't want to do that,
Right.
obviously.
Sure.
It literally paid for our mortgage and the food on the table. It, and I just think, like, what if I break a leg? What if I am in a position where I can't work anymore, or I don't want to work anymore? I
Right.
don't, how often do you go to a realtor's retirement party? Realtors don't retire, they
Never.
expire, they
Yeah.
die,
Right. Yeah.
or they just physically can't open
It's
lockboxes
true.
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And
very
so,
true.
like, in a lot of companies, in a lot of industries, or as business owners, you set yourself up so you have residual recurring income even into retirement. In the real estate community, and I don't know any other brokerage that has a model like ours, where if you want to contribute to growing the company and introduce agents to the company, then the agents that you introduced, you get a referral fee from them for as long as they stay at the company, and as long as they're paying EXP out of their split, which is a very reasonable split, by the way. EXP, out of the split that they receive, they're like, well, who introduced John to EXP? Oh, it was Aaron. Okay, let's give him a referral fee as a thank you for bringing in his friend. That's really all it is. But
Yeah.
88% of agents at EXP don't join for that. No, they don't have anybody under them that they introduce. They just want to sell real estate, like me. I want to sell
Mm-hmm.
real estate too,
Sure.
and that's fine. That's totally fine too. But
Yeah.
you're going to be
Yeah.
an owner whether you like it or not, because your first deal ever, all of a sudden you're awarded stock, and every year after that, on your first deal after your anniversary date, you're awarded stock.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gushing. It's almost four
No.
years
No. No.
in, and
No.
I still
That's.
lose sleep about how awesome I
Oh,
think this
I'm more
company is.
excited today than I was 4 years ago when I made the move over here. I really am. I can't imagine. Part of me in moving over, I'm like, okay, what if this works? I mean, what if this does what I think it could do? I was the 13th agent here in town to join. Nobody had heard of this thing. I mean, there are like 4,000 people in the whole company, whatever it was. Um, I'm more excited today than I was then. without question. It's done way more than what I ever thought it would do. I can't imagine what the next 4 years are going to be like. I
And then
mean,
how does
right
that
place, right time. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
it's
What's going
still
on.
so early. I mean, we've
Oh,
got
it's so
almost
early.
78,000 agents in 20 countries. There's millions of agents around the world.
Totally.
In the Denver metro area or in Colorado alone, there's over 40,000 agents. So
Yeah.
like even people joining 2 years from now, it's still not too late.
Yeah.
You haven't missed the boat yet.
Yeah. Not at all. No, and I get excited about it. I think, man, just, big things are going on. I see back there behind you, I see your icon trophies back there on the windowsill. Explain what that is so people understand what that is. Because, I mean, I've got, you can't see it, but up here on my shelf, I've got trophies up here from Keller Williams, and I got trophies, whatever. So, you go to company banquets and you did something, you're in the top 1% of this or 5% of that, and here's a trophy and a plaque and, different things, which is all fine and good. We all love the recognition, but it's super special here in a different way. Talk about that real quick so
Yeah,
people
I think
understand that part.
publicly I say I don't care about the awards and I'm in it for
Yeah.
supporting, the families and supporting my family and helping people buy and sell homes. But honestly, internally, I'm like, validate me, love me.
Yeah.
I like awards. I do. I
Yeah. Yeah.
really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
um,
for sure.
and I'm not knocking my previous company. Again, I
Sure.
had a great time. But like when I capped, meaning I paid the company $21,000 for being there, they literally gave me a paper certificate and a hat. And I still have that hat because I capped, right? And it's a cap as a
No.
hat. And I
Okay.
was grateful for that. My
Right.
previous company, they revolutionized so many things, the profit share
Absolutely.
model in the
For sure.
training company. It's great. But when I cap at EXP, I get $400 worth of shares of stock. I deepen my ownership in the company that I work for. I'm an owner of, and I get
Hmm.
shares. When at EXP, when you cap and then close approximately 20 transactions after that, you become an icon agent that qualifies you for the Icon Agent Award. And I'm so grateful to my clients and past clients, my sphere of influence, for supporting me and that. Couldn't have done it without them. Couldn't have done it with my team, my collaborators, my partners, Kevin and Fred, Curtis Johnson, Chuck Fazio. He brought his 900 agent brokerage over to EXP. Like,
So
so all
amazing.
this
Yeah.
powerhouse of people that are all loving on me and supporting me too. Couldn't have done it without them. And my wife, supporting me in the endeavor. I
Hmm.
feel like this is an award ceremony and I'm like
Yeah. No,
thanking
you're
everyone
good.
for it. But what this trophy does, it looks really pretty, but behind it is also $16,000 worth of EXP stock.
Yeah.
$16,000. And what that, like you were talking about, you got in early also,
Hmm.
and it's still early again. But like the stock, the revenue share, it's all fantastic. But more important to that is what does that mean for your family and your future? Does it make
Yeah.
you a better husband when you're less stressed about money, when you're part of a company that's genuinely honest to God, fun, right? And
Hmm.
supportive and collaborative? It makes me a better person.
Yeah.
Not to mention our financial future. Like some people say, well, I love my broker. And I'm like, do you love your broker more than you love your family?
Yeah. It's a great point.
Um, eh,
It's a hard question. I mean, that's, like, wow. Like, what do you mean? But again, I think that's the thing. I tell people you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family to just look at this model. If it's not for you, it's not for you.
totally.
But don't go into it thinking it's just another model because it's a model that's never been done before. This is not just another brokerage. It's a completely different brokerage. It's
You
a
know, you
completely different model.
Jeff, you and Lane are icons in the industry, not just Icon Award. And I know you are an icon, you both are Icon Award winners as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
which is awesome. But you have the ability to be at any brokerage you want or open your own
sure.
brokerage too. I have a
Yeah.
managing broker level license. I can open my own shop. People ask me, why don't I do it? If there was a better model, if I felt there was a better model out there, I'm not tied
Hmm.
to EXP. I'm tied to the platform that's going to offer the best compensation model, the best collaboration and support to do a better job for my clients and do a better job for my family and our future. And if another brokerage comes around, or if somebody wants to sit down and show me their model, I am saying yes to that appointment
Yeah,
because
for
I'll
sure.
go there.
For sure. If somebody called me today and said, "Hey, would you come look at this model?" I'll go look at it. I think it's good to know what's out there, you know. Now I can't imagine right now like anybody being able to compete with what we're doing. I mean, whatever. I'm seeing people starting to try and copy some things that we're doing, which you know, imitation's the sincerest form of flattery. They say, whatever. But no, I think right now I think it's impossible for a lot of companies to do what we're doing because of the way this structure is set up. Like I don't know if you saw it, like you know, a couple 2-3 weeks ago when our fourth quarter earnings came out from last year, Glenn Sanford, our founder, he tweeted out on Twitter, you know, that last year, 2021, EXP gave out $170 million in revenue back to the agents who are helping to build the company. And if you think about it, it's no different than what, you know, right now, all these agents watching this, if you work at a traditional brokerage, here's the broker owner, and he's building that company, and that's what he wants to do, building his office, his franchise, his brokerage, whatever, and he overrides everybody's deals. He gets a percentage or a piece of their commissions and their closings. Well, because we're owners through the stock, we can participate in that exactly the same way. It's no different when you think about it, you know, and so that's what we get. And so $170 million though paid back out in revenue, like that's no other company out there can even touch that because of their structure. Their brick and mortar cost alone prohibits them from being able to do that, you know. And that's one of the big advantages of being virtual the way we are. It just allows us to do more stuff because we got a lot more and 100% profitable, all this kind of stuff. I mean, no debt on the books. I mean, there's just so much going on here that, you know, I know we could both sit here and talk about it forever. But I love the trophy, but I love getting that stock back. You know, I love getting my cap back. All that money that I gave to them, I love getting it back in stock because that stock over time is way more valuable than them just handing me a check back for $16,000. You know, that stock, we had over 100 people in our group that I'm a part of here go over $1 million in stock last year. Just from doing what they've been doing their entire
You're going to
careers,
sell
running
real
the
estate
real estate.
anyway. And
Exactly.
it's all, and then even to like loop back around, this all is tied to just selling real estate. There is
Totally.
no revenue share. There is no stock awards unless first and foremost, we are a company that helps people to buy and sell homes.
Yep,
It's just, you might as well go to the one that has the best compensation model and future,
for
brightest
sure.
future.
And one last thing I want to wrap it up with, Aaron, because you had mentioned, you know, what if I break my leg? And I just want to hit, like, you know, 6 years ago this month is when, you know, I got diagnosed with prostate cancer. Now, we caught it early, you know, thank God, whatever, clean bill of health since. But there was about 6 months where Lane and I, we had no closings on purpose. We just pulled back from our real estate because we could. We could focus on our family. We could focus on me getting through that, everything else. And because we had multiple streams of income coming in from another business, from rental properties, different things that we've done, we weren't stressing over the next closing. And my God, when's it going to happen? And even though I'm sick and recovering from surgery and different things, I got to get in the car and go drive around and show homes. I didn't have to think about that. And most realtors watching this, you got that one stream, you know, and within a couple of months, oh my God, it's panic time if there's no closings on the books because who knows, you know, whatever. And I think, you know, this ticker going across the bottom, like getting paid multiple ways for doing what you're going to do anyway. You're already doing it in your business. Like, why not look at this and see how you can make more money, you know, and diversify that out? Because, like you said, you know, you had a couple of months there where the stock helped, the revenue share helped, you know, whatever. And to have that cushion, you just sleep a little better at night. You know, you just do. So anyway, any last things you want to share, man? I totally appreciate your time. You shared a lot of great stuff here. You really did. What any last things you want to close it out with for yourself?
You know, this is a tough business. I'm looking at you, the real estate agent that's out there. This is a really hard business. I mean, and the public doesn't even know. They think HGTV, you show three houses
Yeah.
and, you know, you get paid a whole lot of money because you look at the commissions. Most real estate agents, and this is how I've felt at previous companies too, we're on an island and we're going at it alone, or we're trying to make big decisions on lead generation strategies or, you know, consultations or marketing materials, and you're just doing the best you can, and it's a struggle. um, when you partner with the right people, and under the right models and systems, life, it just changes. It's just a much more enjoyable experience. It's still hard. It's still really hard, but it's a different kind of hard because you're not in it alone.
Yeah, for sure. That partnership you mentioned at the beginning, you go further faster. And you can do that here. It doesn't matter who you surround yourself with. And so, anyway, you couldn't be doing anything. You're doing great things. Keep doing it. You know, I know it's going to be a big year for you. We'll get through this market. It's crazy stuff. So
And likewise, man, you're a partner in the company that I'm a partner of,
yeah,
and I just appreciate having you as a partner in this business to collaborate and grow with as well. So thank
for
you, and
sure.
for all that you're
Anything
doing
I can
too.
do to help you, seriously, never hesitate. Reach out. So
Appreciate it.
and likewise, so guys, thanks for watching here. If you're on my YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. We're doing this a couple times a week. Get great tips from realtors all over the country that we're talking to. Hit the like button, comment on there if you have some questions for Aaron, myself. We'll definitely comment back. Facebook, YouTube, whatever. If you know Aaron and you're a realtor and you've got questions, give him a call. Reach out to him up there in Denver, whatever. He can show you how this model is working. I can do the same down here. Anybody that knows me, and that goes for any agents all across the country, anywhere around the world that we're opening. We can share this model with them. So, whatever we can do to help. But, guys, we appreciate your time. Aaron, thank you again. Have a great weekend, everybody. And we'll see you soon. We'll be back here next week. Okay. Thanks, guys.